Hello folks, welcome to my screencast, and it is me, just recording of me, and anyway I'm going to make myself disappear, but what we're going to learn here is how to make a spreadsheet, and along the way you're going to learn how to put in these cool things called formulas. So we're going to jump right into it, and at times in the screencast I'm going to ask you to pause the screencast and then go back out and do the things that I just did. So it's kind of a cool way to learn. You're going to be able to watch, listen, and then do. So, and you can do it at your own pace in case you don't get it. You can rewind it and check it out again. So anyhow, let's get busy. Start off with, what is a spreadsheet? Spreadsheet is simply rows and columns of numbers, and it's like a calculator. And I'm going to show you my first calculator because it was an awesome thing back then to be able to add, subtract, multiply, divide. That's how old I am. We had to use paper pencil till we mastered that, and then you could advance to these cool things that would do calculations for you. So anyhow, that was a TI-30. I had it in high school. It was awesome. So anyhow, the spreadsheet allows you to do calculations like that, but much more quickly and a lot more powerfully. So let's cut to the chase. What are you going to do to make a spreadsheet? First thing you need to do is open up a brand new tab like I have. And up here you have your little waffle iron application launcher. Let's go there so we can go to the drive. Okay. Now I noticed that there was a drop down for making a Google Sheet right there. That's what a sheet is in Google, a spreadsheet. But I wanted you to get used to going to the drive. A lot of students struggled getting to a new document in Google Drawing. So it's the same technique for spreadsheets. So anyhow, we're going to go to New, and we are going to choose Google Sheets. And what you'll get is a series of rows and columns broken up in these little squares like this. That's called a spreadsheet. These guys that run across the top, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, those are called columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these numbers down the side, those are called rows. All right, so never leave a spreadsheet untitled. At the top, I want you to call this bowling SS. Okay, that'll be short for spreadsheet. Notice when you click your mouse in a cell, it highlights. And these cells are always referenced by a letter and a number. So kind of like Battleship. Right now I'm in D1. Now I'm in A7. Now I'm in G11. Okay, see how that works? Column, row number. All right, let's start this thing off by typing in a simple entry into cell A1. All right, this is going to be called Bowling with Friends. All right, now lesson number 1. If you make a mistake when you're typing, you can use your backspace key to fix mistakes like you saw that I did. If you've entered everything correctly into that cell, you can press the return key, and that'll move your cursor down to the next cell. Okay, that's my favorite way to do it. You'll see later on how to use the tab key. Take note, when you put your pointer between column A and B, right on that skinny little line, you get an arrow that points to the right. This can be used to widen a column. So as you can see, Bowling with Friends doesn't really fit into that cell. It has to spill over into B1. Okay, check this out. If you click and drag a little wider, now it all fits into cell A1. And now you know how to widen a column. Good job. Okay, you don't have to pause quite yet. I think you can probably watch for a few more minutes and then pause and refer back to the little pause part of the screen to put these other labels in. But what we're going to do is have you pick out some friends. We're going to call this column Bowler, and then down below I want you to think about yourself first. So I'm going to put my name, but you're going to put my name. You're going to put your name, and then you're going to have 6 friends that are going to be bowling with you. All right, so I'm going to use the middle school 6th grade team. That'd be Mrs. Hofer and Mrs. Scott and Mr. Carey. Some of you guys call me that. Ms. Short. Oh, come on. Can't type today. It's hard to type in screencast at once. Mrs. Lawton. Not Mr. And we should have Mrs. Peters. Okay. And I'm looking at my cheat sheet here, guys. I think I got everybody I should. All right, good job. Now, you may pause and go back and do that in your spreadsheet. Okay, when you come back, hit play again, and you should be in pretty good shape here. Okay, assuming you paused and your spreadsheet looks like mine, we're going to move on to column B. Okay, now when you type these, you can press the tab key. because we're going to work across instead of down. Hey, time out. What if you screwed up one of your names and you want to fix it now? No problem. All you have to do is double click in a cell. See where it says bowler? And I could type bowlers for example. So I didn't actually make that mistake. I want to call it bowlers, but I wanted to point that out. I'm sorry I left that detail out because some of you might have made a mistake in spelling a teacher's name or a friend's name in your case, and you want to go back. By the way, for your friend's name, I should have told you, you could have listed just their first name, but if you did first name, last name, pat yourself on back. Let's move along. Okay, in cell B3, we're going to type in game 1. Notice I put a space in between the two. And then I'm going to press the tab key. Ready? See how it moves to the right? It's a beautiful thing. This will be called game 2. This will be called game 3. This will be called total, right? When you bowl in a league, for example, a lot of times you bowl 3 games, and then we give you a total at the end. So you have a series total, sometimes that's called. We'll just call it total, okay? All right, you may now, actually, don't pause now. You don't need to. Game 1, game 2, game 3 total, because all I'm going to have you do is make up some bowling scores for each of your friends, including you, and fill these in randomly to these this little range right there. Okay? So I'm going to pause this part. You're not going to see me filling in these scores. Okay? So through the magic of editing, I'll take that away. But you'll see what I mean in a second. There, see what I mean? Through the magic of editing, I was able to take that out. So you don't have to type in these same numbers, make up scores. Hopefully you guys understand we don't have any bowling rookies, do we? The top score you can get in a game of bowling is 300. So typically between, 85 and 250 would be something for, a typical bowler. Maybe not a typical, but, I put good scores for me because it's my spreadsheet. I can make myself as good of a bowler as I want. Notice I didn't put anything in for the totals. Okay? After you get all these scores in, I'm going to teach you how to do the totals and how to make it look pretty. All right, so I can't remember if I had you pause or not, but if you don't have your scores in, get those in now. Pause and then come back. Okay? This part of the video, we got to make it look nice, the spreadsheet. So we're going to take the title at the top right there, and we're going to boldface it. And let's increase your font size to maybe 14. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. And then I'm going to maybe change the font to something cool like Corsiva. Okay. I can bring it a little smaller now. All right. You can use whatever font you like. For these items right here, okay, let's bold those as well. You notice the capital B right there, B is bold. Okay. And then these items right here, game 1, game 2, game 3, and total. Because this sits over a series of numbers, it looks funny because it's lined up left in its cell. See how the 245 lines up right in its cell? So we're going to take items in B3, C3, D3, and E3 and line those in the right side of their cells. So if you did them one at a time, you click on the cell. There's your right align icon right there, okay? Now I could keep doing that, but to save myself a little time, if I click in cell D3, hold the mouse, and drag over through cell E3 like this, see how they're both selected? So if you feel comfortable with that, then you can right align that as well. You could have done all 4 at once if you can handle that selection. So sometimes making selections in spreadsheets is tricky for a beginner. So if you're not comfortable, do each one individually and we'll practice that a little more. All right, do that, pause and come back. Okay, we are back and I'm going to teach you how to do the totals. Okay, now you're going to be entering a formula. Right? A formula is something that adds these numbers for us. We should never have to take and physically add these in our head or on paper or on a calculator and punch in a number. That defeats the purpose of the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet can be taught how to do that. So to teach it how to do that, we have to tell it we want to add what is in cell B4 along with what's in cell C4 along with what's in cell D4. If I can get the computer to add these 3, I'll get my total and it'll be right. So to get the computer to do that, I'm going to type in an equal sign, right? That tells the computer I'm entering a formula. Anytime you enter a formula, you must type in an equal sign. And then to get it to add up what is in cell B4 plus C4 plus D4, I do exactly what I just said. I'm going to type in a B4. And notice it puts an orange highlight in that cell, so it kind of tells me the cell that I'm adding. And then I'm going to type in an operator called the plus sign. And then I'm going to type in C4. And then I'm going to type in another plus sign. And then I'm going to type in D4. And when I'm finished, I'm going to press return. And through the wonderful computer's ability here, it's going to add those for me. That's a 648 total. Okay. Now your mileage will vary. You're not going to get the same number because you didn't have the same scores as I did. Okay. And then likewise, we can continue in this column, and we're practicing entering formulas, so it might seem a little bit tedious. But for this formula, okay, why don't you pause it if you have to, and go put your first formula in. All right. This time I'm going to enter it the same way. And then in the next cell, I'm going to show you another cool way to do it that might change the way that you do things. So in this cell, I'm going to type in equals, and now I want it to add B5, right? Because that's where the next number is for that bowler, Mrs. Hofer. All right, so it's going to be B5 plus C5 plus D5. I hope that makes sense to you because we're adding the numbers for those three cells for that bowler. And when you press return, it does the math for you. Okay, check out this other way to do it. You can type in an equal sign and you can actually click your mouse on the cell and it would put in that reference for you for Mrs. Scott. So that's going to be B6. I have to put my plus sign. I typed it. And then I'm going to click on this cell with my mouse and it puts in the cell for you. And I can type in my next plus sign and I can click on this cell and away we go. Okay. So your job now is to enter formulas for these last several bowlers with whatever technique you want. And when you're finished, you should have numbers in each of these cells. Okay. Now, if entering these formulas confused you, pause, rewind, go back, check with one of the people nearby you and see if they're doing the same way you are. Again, your numbers won't be the same as mine, nor will they will be the same as any of your friends here because they're probably not putting the same numbers in their spreadsheet that you are. Okay, when you're finished with this, pat self on back. Do not share the spreadsheet with me. We'll be moving on to add on to the spreadsheet on Friday, and that will probably be, I don't know if we'll do that in person, do a screencast. So I hope you like learning this way, and that's all I have, folks. Great job.